Please don't tell me that means Dan Quinn put his suitcase back in my closet. No! What's going on, Falcons fans? Logan here. Welcome back to Res Up Rundown, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm just messing. Dan Quinn's suitcase is not in my closet. It was just for giggles, but I really hope Dan Quinn, no offense my guy, but I hope he does not get rehired to the Falcons. Anyway, for today's video, we're gonna go over why did the 2020 free agent signings for the Atlanta Falcons fail really bad? Because we had a lot of high expectations for these guys, and it's safe to say really none of them lived up to the expectations that we all thought they would get to. In this video, we're going to explain all of that starting right now. Now, do keep in mind, in this video, we're really only going to go over the players that we actually had high expectations for. Like, there are some players that we picked up that we just knew they weren't going to do anything, but there are a lot of other players like Todd Gurley, Dante Fowler, Hayden Hurst, Laquon Treadwell, and Darqueze Dennard. All of them we actually had some pretty high expectations for, and that sucks to say because I remember saying I am really applauding Thomas Dimitroff right now for realizing his job is on the line. He needs to make some big moves over the offseason to get us back in playoff contention, and I thought he did do that. Picking up Todd Gurley, Dante Fowler, and company was, I thought those were big moves, and I thought for sure they all could work out here. But literally all of them have kind of been disappointing. Why is that? Well, let's first go over Todd Gurley, and I think he has the most obvious reasonings on why he disappointed. For one thing, he is battling a really bad knee injury, and it just seems like Todd Gurley is never going to recover from that, to be honest with you. Injuries like that, you don't just recover from it. Like, you either take a long time to recover from it, or you just never really do. And it seems like Todd Gurley is just struggling to become his old self with that knee injury. And obviously, that plays a factor into why he's not doing good. I mean, how many times is he going to sit out because he's too injured? And just, he just doesn't look the same, simply put. That injury is going to bother him forever. I would not re-sign him whatsoever. And I think I will admit, at first I thought I was right and wrong about Todd Gurley on having a good season, because statistically he's having a good season. But if you watch him on film, it's not there, and I would not give him a contract extension. Sorry, Todd Gurley, but I think his NFL career is just about done. I really don't see him making any more big plays in the future, or at least not many. He might be signed to another team. I just don't think he's going to do anything. The other thing I wanted to mention is it doesn't really help Todd Gurley when he's working with someone named Dirk Cutter, who does not know how to really run an offense in general, but he's never been good at having a good running game. And with the knee injury and Dirk Cutter, those two things I think were pretty obvious signs that Todd Gurley was not going to work out in 2020, and we did not see that. The other player that we're going to talk about is Dante Fowler, and this one pains me to talk about. I apologize for everyone that watched my channel. I really thought Dante Fowler was going to work out here, and I did take note that he always was inconsistent in the NFL. Like, I did take note that he had one bad season, then one decent season, then one bad season, then one breakout season. So it was possible he was going to have a bad season. But I was just like, well, maybe that breakout season just was finally Dante Fowler breaking out in the NFL. Maybe he's finally got it figured out. And he is playing for not Todd Gurley. He's playing for Dan Quinn. So surely he's going to want to play better than he did in Los Angeles. Right? Nope. Dante Fowler was the most overrated free agent signing I have ever seen the Atlanta Falcons make ever, and I should have seen that coming. And credit to my brother Lawson, he was not high on Dante Fowler heading into the season. I will admit, I thought you were the craziest person ever for thinking he was just not going to work out. Well, props to you, man. Should have listened, because Dante Fowler is getting paid a lot of money to do absolutely nothing for our team. And that is really frustrating to talk about. I mean, he's not doing anything. He actually, I'm going to say it, man, he looks exactly like Vic Beasley. There are some moments where he kind of looks okay, but for the most part, I would say that he and Vic Beasley just weren't exactly the best pass rushers, simply put. Another thing that you have to take note of is that, to be fair, Dante Fowler last year was next to, Aaron Donald, and had his coach Sean McVay. So yeah, of course you're going to succeed there. Well, he wants to work with a really bad coach in Dan Quinn, so that does not really help. And yeah, I know Dan Quinn got fired, but even with Raheem Morris, he doesn't really look that good. And look, Grady Jarrett is great, but he is no Aaron Donald, so of course he's not going to look as good. And he's just been inconsistent his whole NFL career, and I really don't see that changing anytime soon. And this was just such a failure of a free agent signing. What an overrated player, man. I would not want to bring him back. I don't care if he's got all that money. I would find a way to get rid of him, man, because he is just not the answer. Now, if he seriously goes into 2021 next year with us or with a different team and has a breakout season, because it's always going to be on and off for Dante Fowler, I still would not bring him back, because how much can you trust him to stay good? But anyway, I think you get the point. The next player we're going to talk about is Hayden Hurst. Now, he's not necessarily having a bad season, but he's definitely not really having the season we all thought he would have. I thought he was going to be one of the bigger breakout candidates in the 2020 season, and I thought he was just going to do so much better than Austin Hooper. And, sure, Austin Hooper isn't doing that much for the Browns, but I don't think anyone's sitting here saying Hayden Hurst is, to be honest with you, doing anything for us. And that kind of sucks, because it kind of makes it seem like, did we really need to get rid of Austin Hooper? Because Hayden Hurst is not the same player as Austin Hooper, but man, they are, like, Austin Hooper and Hayden Hurst, as far as production goes, they are kind of having the same season. Like, they're kind of disappointing. Like, Hooper's not really doing anything for the Browns. Hurst is not really doing a whole lot of things for the Falcons. When he grabs the ball, he looks great, man, as expected. And, he's showing off the athletic traits that he has, but simply put, I just don't really know why they're not utilizing him. And the team is taking note of it, too. Like, they're like, oh, we got to utilize Hayden Hurst. Well, do it then, because you're not doing it week in and week out. That's all I can really say about Hayden Hurst, is simply put, they just, for some reason, don't want to utilize him. That is kind of weird, but they just kind of don't. And that sucks. But hopefully he can turn it around next year. I would keep Hayden Hurst, though. I think this maybe was just a bad year for him. Matt Ryan does usually do well with his tight ends. This was kind of a weird year for his tight end, but I do have trust that our athletically gifted tight end can bounce back next year. So I would think it's a good idea. I know he has to stay here because he has a contract extension. Or was it a one-year deal that he signed? Or was it longer than that? Frankly, I don't remember. But either way, I think he should stay here next year. Then the other player we're going to talk about is Laquon Treadwell. And, I guess we should have seen this one coming, because Laquon Treadwell never really did have a good NFL season or a good NFL career. Like, he always kind of has been underwhelming and disappointing. But I just thought for sure if he came to Atlanta, he would kind of spark things up, because, Kirk Cousins is not a bad quarterback, but I think it's safe to say Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. And also, the Vikings do have a talented receiving core, but I just thought if you're surrounded by, I don't know, Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, 2 wide receiver number 1s, you would think that Laquon Treadwell kind of looks like, at the very least, a wide receiver number 2 or 3, I guess, but no, he doesn't even make it to the NFL season with the Falcons, and I guess we should have seen that coming. I don't really know if Treadwell's going to end up being a superstar in the NFL, unfortunately, because he just kind of always seems to struggle in the NFL. I wish him the best of luck, but I guess he just wasn't going to work out in Atlanta. And the last player we're going to talk about is Darqueze Dennard, and this player actually is the only player on here that actually isn't necessarily disappointing. In fact, he's actually a little more surprisingly good, at least to me, because I thought Darqueze Dennard was just this veteran corner that was never a superstar in the NFL, but whatever, he can coach up the younger guys. But instead, he's kind of proving that we did need a veteran presence at corner, and he's been doing some good things for us this year. Like, he'll make some clutch plays here and there, but the only reason I'm going to say he's disappointing is because he doesn't exactly get a lot of playing time, and even if he gets out there, I'm not going to go off and say he's necessarily a strength for this team. Well, actually, I don't want to say that. I think he's a good player, but he's definitely not the answer at corner. So I would still go ahead and find another corner over Darqueze Dennard. I think he's fine, but he's just not really the answer. I wouldn't mind if you brought him back. You know, I wouldn't mind if you had him coach up the younger guys, and even when he's out there, they do need a veteran presence when you get new corners in general. So I wouldn't mind keeping him, but he's just not really the long-term answer at corner. But those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Other than that, I will see you guys with a video this Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Love and appreciate you all for the support. I seem to always mess up the word appreciate nowadays. But anyway, love and appreciate you all for the support. And as always, rise up.